All right, hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging and Friends. We're back to playing Monster of the Week, continuing our family Splatters campaign. The family is back together after a family holiday last week. I feel like I should do some sort of thing, and so I made a connection, but we're going to move on. But yeah, we're starting up. Actually, no, we're finishing up, I should say, our second scenario probably tonight. We'll see how it goes. We've been doing Razorback, which you can find in the Tome of Mysteries book from Evil Hat. And so that's what we've been kind of working on. A couple tweaks here and there based upon their decisions and such. We'll get into the summary in a second, but let's go ahead and do some character intros, and then we'll get started. So, Jeremy, I have you in the wrong spot, but go ahead, and if you could, please tell us about your character of Corbin Redding.
Yeah, sure. Corbin Redding is our resident goth. He's the Hex class, tall and gaunt and dark hair, pale skin, tattoos of these horned serpents along his arms. He mostly uses magic to burn things and do toilet bowl divination. It's great.
Absolutely. We've had very interesting toilet bowl divination. Do you remember what happened in that toilet bowl divination? Do you remember?
I do. I feel like you've got some sort of sound effect ready for us. Yeah,
something
I remember
like
looking over the stall and there was a pig sitting on a toilet. It was great.
I just remind everybody I spent money on that, so I really want to play that literally as many times as I can to feel that 99 cents or $1 that I spent, totally worth it. Totally worth. Let's go back up to the top then to Phil Theodore. Chuck, tell us about Phil.
Hi, everyone. I'm Phil. Just a regular guy, older brother of Donna, and I'm just happy to be here.
That's fantastic.
Hi, everyone.
Really happy to hear that. Super happy that you're here. And very excited that we didn't actually get to. I'm actually very sad that we didn't get to play out the love sequence that likely would have happened between you.
Yeah.
And I think her name was Penelope, the old lady Clemonte, who.
Yeah.
You tried to sneak up to.
I tried.
You did.
It worked.
Try.
Well.
Yeah.
She was just dead first.
She was definitely dead. Oh, what does that say? She'd rather be brutally murdered by some pig-faced man than have a night of romance with Phil Theodore.
It just sounds like she doesn't have her priorities in order. I probably dodged a bullet on that one.
Probably.
Yeah.
Next up, speaking of dodging bullets, as you nearly got torn to shreds by a meat factory plant machine, we've got Anton Bankowski. Bert, tell us about Anton.
I'm a cousin from the old country who really has a penchant for old fashion, including a straw bowler hat and tweed, and I keep forgetting the name of the fabric. What was it again? Rayon? No,
polyester?
Polyester. Yeah, I
Polyester,
really
yeah,
like
polyester,
polyester because if I'm going to get engulfed in flame, I want to go quick.
Absolutely.
I'm a wordsmith. I got my trusty portable Commodore here that I write up all of our interesting little things, and I put it out there for various nut house papers.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
gotcha.
The kind you find at the newsstand.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's really fun. I always get to explain to my students that things like The Onion existed before the internet existed. Like, it actually was a newspaper. You could find it in a news. And never mind. They look at me just like I'm old. I'm like, I only read it online, so I don't know what you're talking about. You're old. Shut up. That's what I would say to them.
You'll find my byline next to such stories as I had Elvis's love child and things like that. It's
very nice. Very nice.
Great quality work.
Excellent. I'm sure the prose is exquisite.
You got to pay the
next.
bills.
Next up, we've got Phil's sister Donna. Melissa, tell us about Donna Theodore.
So Donna is the younger sister of Phil. Donna takes all of this work very, very seriously. And she's got a pretty kick-ass truck with a camper trailer cap cover thingy and lots of weapons inside. And that still wasn't enough that we didn't run away from Pigman last time.
Fantastic. Yeah, you eventually did run away from Pigman. You kind of had to run away because I think it was kind of looking pretty rough there for a while. But you all survived-ish, and we'll kind of go on from there, right? So I'm gonna try to transition. Like a river flows surely to the sea. Something. Here's Adam. Adam, tell us about Caleb.
Caleb's just a dude. He's just a regular teenage guy, slightly athletic, bit of a jock, little bit, but he thinks his oldest brother is the coolest person in the world, so he tries to dress like him, but he doesn't understand the difference between a goth, a mod, any of the different like subcultures within the 1980s. So he kind of dresses like them all. It's really obvious to anyone that's a part of either scene that he's a poser, but like he's just around, he's there, and everyone has been kind of distant from him lately, but it's a phase. We'll get through it.
Absolutely. I don't see how anything could possibly go wrong. Family of monster hunters having a monster among them. I'm sure they'd be fine. They'd be fine.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go ahead and start up. So like I said, we're continuing the Razorback scenario that we started up. You all have been in Bentonville, Arkansas. And you were just kind of passing through when you stumbled across a situation that involved the murder of a local security guard that had possible connections to the Clemonte family, which is a group of wealthy folks who've essentially been in some kind of power in the area for several generations. Sophia Clemonte was your contact. She hired you to investigate the death of the security guard, but more specifically, the disappearance of her younger brother, Cyril, who was kind of gossiped or rumored to maybe be involved somehow. So eventually, you guys did a handful of things in the first session, but eventually last time around, the investigation brought you to the old Clemonte meat factory, which has been shut down for about 20 years or so since there was this terrible string of murders that happened, like this workplace incident where dozens of people were killed and fed to a meat grinder. You all went there to see if you can kind of learn anything at the site, because that was where the security guard was killed. And that's when you discovered the body of Cyril Clemonte being strung up by a giant man wearing a pig face, or a man with a pig face. It's still not entirely clear which. Combat obviously ensued, but the pig face man was very, very, very capable and kind of forced you guys begrudgingly to escape, which you did, not unharmed. I think you also, your vehicles took a little bit of damage, but nothing too terrible. Later that night, you all ventured back to the Clemonte family home because you wanted to break the news. You had the body of Cyril with you, and you told Sophia and Zachary Clemonte about what happened to their younger brother. And they also mentioned how their mother once claimed to be part of a coven or something like that. And she believed that she was as responsible for the Clemonte family's success as her husband's business acumen allowed them to be so rich and successful. Apparently, she also had an ample library with various books, some of them occult related, and artifacts and stuff like that Cyril was always apparently fascinated with. You guys kind of spread out. A couple of you were helping bring the body in. A couple of you were kind of going with Zachary Clemonte, the greatest NPC ever, to go into the library. And then Phil took it upon himself to sneak upstairs because he wanted to get a look, I guess, at the old folks, Archie and Penelope, the
friendly conversation.
Yeah, just friendly conversation. Failed miserably. Got discovered by Archie. But the good news was that Archie just thought you were one of his wife's boy toys, because they don't really apparently have that kind of relationship anymore. And he just pointed you down the hall to where her bedroom was. Of course, when you got there, you opened the door. You discovered that she had been brutally murdered and terribly butchered right there in the Clemonte family mansion. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to pick up right there with Phil. Phil, you're staring at this brutal body, ripped disemboweled like a pig might be that's getting ready to go on a spit or carved up a bit. There is a kind of a cool gust of wind coming in from the window. There are a couple candles that are flickering here and there, and other various various sundries and such, smell of incense and things. But otherwise, you're the first and thus far only to see this.
So this is a delicate situation. And I think the appropriate reaction is I will scream out of sheer terror and go running out of the room, down the stairs, and I will go sit in the driver's seat of my Astro van and lock the doors.
So you go rushing back, you're screaming as you run back down the hallway balcony, and you start sort of kind of half stepping, tripping, etc. as you go down the stairs. You run right past Archie in his oxygen tank. He's just like just kind of laughing at you, and then wheels his oxygen tank away back into his own room, not seeming to be suspicious. We'll say that in the house, I think everyone is now in the house because a couple of you brought the body in. Some of you are like in the kitchen, dropping Cyril's body off in like a walk-in freezer, and the other two are in the library. You would hear Phil screaming, or at least the sound of Phil screaming, and maybe a door slamming. So I'll turn to the rest of you all. What are you all up to?
Caleb will hear the noise, and he'll just kind of shuffle in the direction of the sound.
Okay.
Like, he's just kind of wandering aimlessly at this point. It's been a while since he's eaten.
Okay, we'll say at this point we'll say you get out into the main area quick enough from, I think you and your brother were, I think it was you and your brother that were at the library. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what it was. And then I think it was Anton and Donna who were bringing the body. So Caleb, we'll say that you get out into the middle, like sort of living room area, public living room, and you see Phil run down the stairs, across the foyer, push through the big old oversized front doors, and run out into the night.
Caleb's gonna stand there like confused, look left, look right, shrug, look around a little bit more, and go back in the library.
Okay. Well,
was everything okay, Caleb?
I don't know.
I'm sure they're fine. As Corbin is just very self-absorbed at this point. He's gotten the brother drunk. He's trying to look through any of these old tomes that are available.
And he has been drinking. He's definitely been drinking, but he's still kind of there in the area. But he doesn't react even to the scream.
Hey, Bill was running. I don't see him run except for his morning jog.
And you hear Zachary speak up drunkenly. Quickness is the essence of war.
Oh, well, damn, I must be all about peace then. So just kind of shuffle back and like look over Corbin's shoulder annoyingly, like, what you doing?
I tell you what, do you mind checking on him? I think I've almost found something useful here.
Who?
On Phil.
Oh, yeah. No, I don't mind. And then very slowly, without any urgency, I'm going to start going towards outside.
Okay.
And so at this point, Donna would be kind of passing by the library and would just sort of shout in, I heard Phil. Did you see him?
Yeah.
Is he in here?
No, but Caleb's going to investigate. And if anybody's sharp enough to take care of this, it's Caleb.
Who's
and
Phil?
Donna's going to look over to Caleb. Where did Phil go?
Who
Know where he
y'all
came from?
talking about? Who's Phil?
And
Oh
Is that
gosh.
one of
And Donna's
Mama's?
just going to roll her eyes at like what's happening in this room, and she's gonna go
Pouring him
find
another
her
drink.
brother.
Oh, thank you very much.
So-
Very kind of you.
She-
It's all
Yeah.
right. Mama brings in all sorts of boys every now and then. You get used to the sounds. He leans in close to Corbin. You can smell like I don't know, gin on his breath, and he's like, "You don't get used to the sounds. I was lying."
Okay. And Donna, like, not even with a whole lot of like a lack of rudeness, is gonna step back out and look back toward Anton.
Anton's just going to step forward and say, "So Mama is where? And Phil came from where?"
Oh, Mom was upstairs at this time of night. I didn't realize she had a suitor coming over. I thought
that's
she
where
was
he was coming
in
from.
distress about Cyril.
I'll
It's
off my hat
possible.
and go upstairs.
Donna will run after
The
Anton.
wise warrior avoids the battle. As they leave.
And Donna like just the biggest eye roll while she's like following Anton up the stairs.
Okay. So Corbin and Corlib has remained in the library with Zachary. Caleb has gone out to check on Phil. Phil, you've run out to your vehicle. Anton and Donna, you go upstairs. Couple things. This is all kind of happening at once. Keep it in mind. Phil, you run outside. Go to your car.
Yeah.
It is a warm night in a way. The humidity of Arkansas coursing through. There is a fog, you might say, wafting here and there nonetheless. You notice as you buckle yourself in or just kind of lock yourself into your car, as you look out, there's occasional like little gas lanterns here and there kind of dotted around the entranceway of this mansion, which is certainly up close doesn't look as attractive. Probably from a distance this might look more attractive. There are shapes moving around out there in the darkness. Just moving around here and there.
I don't like that either. Nothing is safe. I will start laying on the horn.
Horn starts going off, all of which you can hear. Anton, Donna, you guys are up the stairs. You see like the door to your right is open. You can see another door down to your left in the balcony that, well, actually there's a couple doors up here, but that's the only one open off to the right. I'll say maybe there is even a little smudge of blood, kind of track that Phil maybe tracked out of the bedroom. But you can kind of see going back to that door on the right. And we will say for moving along, the two of you peek inside and you see the disemboweled, butchered like it is a pig being gutted and prepared for cooking. You can see the body of Penelope Clemonte there in bed.
Donna is going to kind of lean out the door and just sort of yell, all y'all Clemontes, get up here.
While she's doing that, I want to see if there's a blood trail. Like, where did whatever murder her go?
You can roll investigate a mystery. Sounds like that sounds like what you're doing is you're looking around for tracks and such like that and such. Donna shouts, Corbin, you hear Zachary next to you. No, I don't think that's a good idea. Going upstairs when Mama is getting her fix. She likes to be kept alone. You don't want to accidentally see something that you're later gonna have to see at night when you try to sleep.
I've gone from like wanting to ply this man with drink, and now I just feel bad for him. I'm gonna take the pitcher that his drink is in, and I'd like to use magic to do something similar to the divination route, but just show him an image of like his mom, but like nice and calm, and she's just laying peacefully, and like the opposite of what he's implying. so he can just see a magically compelled image of a very normal mother and just hope that he is comforted to sleep, because I feel so bad for him.
Roll a use magic then, and please fail.
I really hope I fail. That would be too fun.
Oh,
yeah, you'll get
goodness.
experience if you fail.
Okay.
No.
All right,
13.
13, easy peasy. No issues whatsoever. He just kind of looks down there, and he seems somewhat calmed. He said, "Oh, hey, Mama, look at that. You know, she used to read all the time in this here library. Oh, and we'd gather around on the rug, and she'd read us little stories here and there.
Show me one of her favorite books. Yeah. Show me her favorite books.
It was right up." And he kind of pulls down. It looks like this old kind of like book of fairy tales, like folk tales, things like that. And there's all, the usual things that you would see. It's old though. It's thick. It's heavy. You kind of flip through it. It's very like all of them are very like witch oriented and a little dark at the same time here and there. But nonetheless, he's just like, I don't know. I never read it myself. It just Cyril was the one who really read all of my mother's books. He was the bookworm. He was the one who was kind of, under her feet left and right. Was the one who kind of got all interested in that occult mumbo jumbo. And sometimes she'd even bring over her friends, the coven. Everyone thought it was just sort of their little catchphrase, their little joke. But Mama insisted. None of us really believed her, of course. Just Cyril. Just Cyril. Oh, yeah. Anyhow, my mama, she's a delightful woman.
Yes.
Yeah. And so he's just kind of sort of rambling a bit here and there as he's staring down at this liquid, and he's just like reminiscing about this time in which his mother read to him and his siblings inside this study these creepy, dark fairy tales.
Buddy, I'm just, it looks like you're in a good place. I'm just going to give you some space right there. I'm just going to go. Oh,
and he just says, as you're walking away, he says, build your opponent a golden bridge to retreat across. As the door closes to the library and you leave. At this point, anyone who is inside and heard Donna screaming starts running upstairs. Zachary has been kind of cooled, and he is now in the library by himself, just thinking. Sophia comes up. She has sort of been the one in charge. She's the one who hired you all. She comes running up. She sees Anton and Donna. I'll say even Archie comes out. What's this racket about? Y'all need to keep quiet. I'm trying to get my beauty sleep. You think I can run a Fortune 100 company such as ours with only 12 hours rest a night? What is wrong with you?
What's wrong is that there's a dead body.
You're confusing this for a conversation.
Yes, you are as well. There's a dead body. Open your eyes.
My eyes are open, and they definitely don't look open.
And so Donna will kind of look to Sophia.
Dead body. I'm very much living, young lady.
I'm not talking about you. Your wife. Good gracious.
She looks dead, and she's dead to me, but she's very much alive, I can assure you.
Oh, good gracious. And so she's just going to take him and move him to the bed and sit him down. Just sit. Just sit.
The bed in
what not room? The bed, like a chair.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry.
Get your hands off me. Who do you think you are? Quit manhandling me.
Oh, just sit down. Just sit down. And she's going to turn to Sophia. So when was the last time anyone was in this room?
What do you mean? My mother's been in it for all evening after supper.
And Donna just sort of looks at her and points to the body.
Her eyes get really wide and she peers inside the Mama! Oh, Mama! And she kind of falls down this time, like to her knee. Oh, no, Mama! And he's just, I'll keep it down. Well, you've seen her in Fuego. God damn it, I forgot the phrase. What is it?
Infligante de la...
Thank you. That's it, Bert. You seen her, like Anton said, before? He's screaming out, not wanting to listen whatsoever.
Oh, just sit down. Just sit down. And so Donna's going to turn to Anton. So somehow this happened since dinner?
So I did get a success and can ask one question. So it's,
Absolutely.
Where did he go? Yeah. So I point out what I find.
You notice that there's not so much a blood trail. There is a little bit of one that leads over to the window, the open window through which the breeze is. And you can see that there has been damage done to the window. It's very clear that whoever gained access to the room via the window and then left via the window. And it almost looks as like whoever came in and out of this thing just was huge, and just the whole frame is basically splintered. Like whoever came in and out is just enormous. So you've seen the creature inside the factory. It probably would dawn on you that might be what it was.
So both large and agile, it appears. And is someone blowing a horn out there?
Yes, you all hear a horn going crazy outside. Let's cut to Caleb. Caleb, you come running out, and you hear the horn start going off. I don't have orange sounds. I don't know. Maybe the horn sounds like this. Who knows? Maybe it's just a pig sound suddenly coming out of your horn. But no, you run outside, and you can see.
No, there's no running.
Oh, you
shuffle,
shuffle, dragging the leg
zombie
behind
shamble.
you.
Yeah.
You can see Phil's there. I would say, Caleb, you too can see that a fog has formed, a very light fog, but there are, something in the fog moving, shuffling about. You can see at a distance the various gas lights and stuff of the landscape, kind of throwing some interesting shadows here and there.
So I'll shuffle over to the driver's side door and.
Phil, you see that you're being attacked by a zombie outside your window.
Hey, cuz.
Oh, I'm going to throw that door open and just drag him inside and then close the door after him. All right.
Hey.
So the pig monster killed the old lady. And then after the old lady died, I came down here and I hid myself in the van. And then if you look out there, there's creepers out there coming for us.
Yep. I was about to tell you. There's something creeping around. There's something prowling around here.
I feel like that's a song reference, Caleb, but it's not the time.
No, it's a future reference. Way in the future.
Okay.
Anyway, we need to get out of this van. If I know anything, vans only hold back hordes for so long. Should get inside.
Okay. I'm going to go. I'm going to grab my baseball bat and I'm going to push Caleb back out.
Okay.
I'll fall down to the ground and slowly climb up.
Okay. The shapes that you see moving about in the fog don't seem to close in on you, but you do see them here and there. But you guys are able to get out of your vehicle and you can push back inside if that is your wish.
Seeing that they're not closing in, Caleb, we should try and talk to them.
Hey.
So
I said it.
I don't think
Caleb,
they want to talk.
You call out to the nearest group of shapes that you see.
Mm-hmm.
And you do, in fact, hear a response. And it sounds a little bit like this. As you get a little close to the edge of the driveway, and you can see off in the lawn, there are, in fact, very large, healthy, mature hogs, pigs, etc., roaming about the grounds. And there are about 4 of them that seem to be very interested in something. Like they're... and when you shout out at them, one of them kind of just looks up and just squeals back at you and then goes back to its work as the fog or the mist sort of wafts back over them.
Oh, man, I'm hungry.
Well, they don't seem very interested in us, which is good. And they seem to be very interested in something over there.
It's probably... I don't know.
Another body. Yeah.
Food.
Yeah.
Yeah. You hungry?
Yeah. No, but let's go look anyway.
All right.
All right. So you guys are going to go try and investigate what's going on with them?
I guess so.
That feels like investigate a mystery. As you guys sneak up, and you're trying to get a better look at what they're doing. So yeah, one of you, I don't care which, can go ahead and roll it. If somebody else wanted to roll
Caleb
help out.
to do this. Like, I'm willing. I'll do it.
I will help you. I am pushing you forward bravely.
All right.
Okay.
So what happens when you help
Phil, roll help out first.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
And how'd you do on that?
10. So they get a +1.
So you get a +1, Caleb, to your investigate a mystery roll.
All right. So I got a 10.
And you guys are rolling rocks tonight. Okay. So on a 10 plus, let's see. You basically get the answer, or you get to ask one of the questions, and you get a whole 2 bonus to sort of hang on to for now. So what? Obviously, you're just trying to figure out like what is it, and you definitely see that they are not unlike Lady and the Tramp. They are sort of pulling and tearing what looks like these long, almost pasta-like tendrils in their mouths, like fighting over here and there. You don't see a full body, though, on the ground or anything like that. You get the feeling, Caleb, considering what you are, that it looks like they're fighting over an intestine, maybe?
Okay. Oh. So that's I can't see the full list, but when you get a 10, is it you just give me extra?
You get a hold 2. So basically, you can use that bonus in a bit. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Got it. So I'm sitting there wondering, like, they're pretty distracted, but is there any way that I can get a piece of that?
Well, you can certainly act under pressure if that's what you're sounding like. Describe what it looks like as you try to go snatch a piece of this intestine from this trio of large hogs.
Yeah,
Jeremy beat me in chat. I was about to make the Lady and the Tramp statement, but
yeah, as they're doing the Lady and the Tramp thing, like when it's taut, that's when I'm just gonna right in the center so that it all separates and everybody gets something.
Okay. Sounds like an act under pressure.
Okay. Do I have to declare my hold 2 before I roll?
You have to succeed first.
Yeah. I don't. Yeah. Go ahead and roll.
Okay.
Okay. So we can carry that over, which would give you a 9 if you wanted.
Nah.
So act under pressure, you need a 10 plus to succeed and do what you want to do. On a 9 plus, it's a partial success. So you basically get a worse outcome, a hard choice, or a price to pay. So as you come in and you can see 2 of them kind of tearing apart, you leap forward and you try to snatch with your teeth. And I think it's pretty simple to say that they don't take kindly to you coming up and trying to steal their food.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that you basically get trampled in the process.
Okay.
And I'm going to say you kind of just get knocked unconscious briefly as you're,
right.
and then these things, and you just watch Phil as Caleb rushes in, tries to steal his intestine, and these massive pigs just throw him around and then trample over top of him as they run off deeper into the mist, into other parts of the grounds. And they just leave him behind with a little bit of the intestine still sticking out of his mouth. But you can tell that he is just out, knocked unconscious.
I'm gonna snack when I wake up.
Are there any bits that don't belong to Caleb still lying around on the ground?
Sure. We'll say there's a couple tiny little pieces that the pigs didn't grab.
Okay. Well, I'll go grab Caleb, and I will grab like a couple sticks and pick those up and kind of like wedge Caleb's mouth open and just stuff it full of bits.
Okay.
I've seen him recover doing that before.
Sure.
Keeping my fingers away from the biting parts, and then I'm just going to drag him inside.
You drag him inside. You do that, no problem. We'll cut back to inside, where I think Donna and Anton are still upstairs with now both Archie and Sophia. Sophia, who has actually seen the body now. Corbin, have you made it upstairs as well?
Yeah, but it's at a leisurely pace because as soon as he has that grimoire, he is just face planted in it, like only half registering anything else going on. He snatched some plate of snacks that was next to the brother earlier, just nibbling on something while he's reading the book, wiping crumbs off.
Okay. Since you're reading so much, you can roll Investigate a Mystery as you start flipping through this big book of... You realize, by the way, you can go ahead and roll that. One of the things you obviously realize, this is not a giant book of fairy tales. This seems to be more of like a historical codex that she just sort of playfully kind of created on the fly into these fairy tales. And so it seems more like this historical track of like generations of witches.
It's like the true crime of fairy tales.
Okay.
As I completely fail my role. Corbin does not like true crime novels.
So on a miss, you reveal some information to the monster, whoever you're talking to. The keeper might ask you some questions, which you have to answer. Do you have a hold? Do you have any holds left over?
Holds?
Holds is like basically like a little currency that you can exchange. So Caleb kind of had one essentially that he could kind of use to get some sort of effect, but you can use that as well here.
No, I don't know that I have any holds per se.
No worries. We'll say this, that you are flipping through it and like you're doing a cursory read of a very large old tome. It's not an illuminated manuscript, but it definitely is written in a very like kind of archaic kind of font, calligraphy like handwritten, you think. And it would take some time probably. It's hard to just sort of glean one or two things. I will say though, failing forward a bit, that you do notice that there are some notes that have been tucked into it here and there. You can see there's some loose notes that have been slid into a couple different pages here and there. And it appears like it's handwriting, like recent handwriting, like in a sense, like it's not like doesn't match the kind of the calligraphy of the actual text. Someone actually has handwritten something. It's not faded, so you would consider it probably kind of new. And and it just seems to sort of have like random notes here and there about something that you can study later if you like.
Perfect. Maybe right around the time I notice that, then I'll see the body and then turn around and run.
Okay, so you're just walking up. You're chewing on something here and here, chewing and chewing, and then you look up, and then you look at your hand, and you realize in your hand, what you seem to have is this just tiny little piece of meat of some indiscernible origin that is chewy, and you thought maybe it was like a piece of cheese or something, but in fact it's and seeing the grandmother it's in your mouth, and you just sort of bolt out of the room at that point.
Oh, I don't like that association.
So, at this point, Sophia is weeping loud. Inside the room, the door to the mansion opens up, and Phil starts, as Corbin, you're running out and you're looking down the staircase. You can see Phil is dragging in Caleb. Anton, you're still inside the room doing a cursory investigation of the scene. Donna, you're next to Sophia weeping, and Archie is just down the hallway, just doesn't give a shit about all this nonsense. He needs his 12 hours. What are you guys up to?
Donna wants to see if she can. This is probably going to go horribly because she's got a -1 for charm, but she's going to work real hard to try to will Sophia to focus.
Mm-hmm.
And try to provide us with a bit more information.
So what do you say? What is it you're doing? What does this look like? What does this sound like?
Do you mind if I roll first just to see how horrible I roll?
Well, I'm not even sure what you're trying to roll. Like you haven't necessarily, whatever you've done hasn't necessarily aligned with a particular move yet. So
okay, sorry, I was thinking sort of in like a manipulate. Like I'm kind of just like, look, yes, this is a very. She's got -1 charm. Yes, this is a very upsetting scene, but we're here to try to solve this. Figure out what happened to your brother. We figured out what happened to your brother. Now something has happened to your mother, so we need information. You can deal later.
In particular, is there anything obvious missing out of her room?
I'll say since with Anton's little assist, Anton roll a help out as you're trying to help Donna out here. And then if you're successful at that, Donna might get a little bonus. No. Oh, goodness. With Snake Eyes, definitely not.
Wow.
Okay, on a miss, you expose yourself to trouble or danger without helping.
I slip on a rope of intestine and...
and you just kind of fall back onto the bed, disturbing the crime scene.
I fall right into the body.
It's like, oh, dear God. Donna, go ahead and roll your manipulate someone. And I'll say the trouble or danger, we're going to carry it over to a -1, as this is really, not only is she like really upset, like at what's happening now, Anton has just horrifically fallen on her dear departed mother. So she
I'm sorry, I seem to be wearing your mother like a skin suit. My apologies.
Mama, what? You? Oh, get off my mama. Oh, my goodness. This can't be happening. Not this first cereal. Now my mama. Go ahead, Donna. How'd you do?
Yeah, so I rolled an 11. -1 would be a 10. So for a normal person, they'll do it.
Okay.
But they may need a little bit more.
She turns to you, and she's, eyes are wet with tears, cheeks just raining down, and she looks at you. What is it you want to know? I don't understand. This is horrific. Oh my God. What do you want to know? Cyril didn't do this. He's dead in a freezer downstairs.
Oh, I know that. Is there anything that you haven't told us about who might be looking for your brother? No, actually, have you seen anyone in the grounds lately?
No, I haven't seen anyone on the grounds lately. Just Cyril and his friend Ronnie. They were in Mom's study, and they were going through her things, and they were, oh God, they're just always doing this or that, and they were here really late at night, kind of. They said it was really important. I don't know what they were doing. They're weird young men, and they do weird. I can't believe Mom's gone. Oh, goodness.
And Donna will kind of look at Anton. Well, we've got a name. We've got a point of entry. Anything else you want to look for in this room?
The thing is like you don't have a name. Ronnie Drew, is dead. It was the body that you guys found when you went to the farm, when Anton, Caleb, and Corbin went to the farm. He's also was killed.
Yeah.
That's the one that Caleb
don't have an
took a little bite out of.
Yeah. Okay. And Donna, with her sort of lack of charm, is gonna kind of step her way kind of out of the room a little bit.
Okay.
Because I'm gonna say that she probably hears Phil and Phil coming back in the house.
Okay. Corbin, you had something.
Corbin just gets the idea to flip back through the book and see, is Cersei ever referenced in this book?
Well, yeah. It is.
Okay. Drugsman turns them into pigs. Briefly remembering like some lit class he took a long time ago.
Is Corbin anywhere near Anton?
He's on the balcony, I think, outside the room with the dead mother.
Okay. So I would have seen him with the grimoire there, right?
Okay.
So I'll come over and I'll take out those Polaroids of the symbols from the vision. So see if you can match this up with a spell or something in there.
Okay. Working on that. She had lots of guests. She had lots of suitors come over. Cersei drugs the men, turns them into pigs. Maybe that's how they used to keep the old place stocked so easily. Maybe that's how they made their profits, because they didn't have to actually pay for livestock. They just brought people in. She'd have her torrid affairs, turn them into pigs, and then grind them up into meat.
Well, that's quite the theory there, Corbin.
Really bad for that kid down there. Like, he's messed up. But yeah, I should look for those symbols.
Yeah, or like a undo. Is there like a undo spell thing?
Well, that.
So I'll say this: the basic questions you've already asked is matching up symbols. Absolutely, you do. You absolutely see magical symbols like the same, or the symbols that Anton took photos of. You see them here in the book, and you see them on those notes that fell out of the book as you were flipping through it, Corbin. You do seem just sort of trying to read through the chicken scratch that this handwriting is, that it seems to be something about a summoning spell. It seems to be something about a summoning spell, and then you can see that there are other pages that are trying to sort of deduce an anti-summoning spell, like a banishing spell of some kind. And so that's what you see kind of hastily written on some of these notes. And you can see going through the codex, you can find places where in some of these old histories and things like that, you can pick out occasionally where some of those symbols kind of pop up here and there. Like he was sort of, whoever it was trying to piece something together. And that's when the door opens up and you can see the body of Caleb being dragged inside, and there's Phil in all his fright below you as you looking down from above on the balcony.
Phil.
Aww.
Pigs! There's lots of pigs out there.
Yes? Yes?
The old lady's dead upstairs.
Yes, we know. We saw.
And there's pigs outside. And part of the old lady is dead outside.
You guys hear a bell ring, and you hear the old man upstairs. Ding dong, the witch is dead.
Oh.
So he takes a big drop of oxygen.
Dear.
Yes, she is.
Well, okay. So we know that Ronnie and Cyril read from the book, worked on stuff together. Now they're both dead. Corbin, you think it was like a call somebody up kind of a thing?
Maybe. And the Cyril, like we saw in the vision, that he thought that he had completed the banishment for whatever that thing was. So he probably was close, but just didn't get it right, or not quite right.
But you can get it right, right?
I mean, clearly, I'm not some like 2-bit hack like this guy is. But also, all of you will be like between me and it, which would be helpful. He was by himself. He didn't have family.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have faith. I have faith in you. You can do this. You can do this.
I feel okay.
Yeah. Can we? And so Donna's going to kind of look to Anton and look to Phil. Can we try to like do it here? Try to reinforce the house?
I mean, this thing broke through a wall. Is anything in your thing say that it has to be done someplace stationary or linked?
Corbin, I would say, since you have all the pieces, no roll necessary. What you can glean if you're given a few minutes to sort of look through the notes, and if you even show these notes to Sophia or to Archie or downstairs to Zachary, it is in fact Cyril's handwriting. You're sure of it. And from what you can glean, he was trying to summon the creature. And in doing so, you basically, at the site of his death, and so where the creature or Razorback, his story, he died, as Phil and Donna had learned, he died literally by feeding himself to the meat grinder after first feeding like 20-something people at the factory into the meat grinder. And somehow his like mask survived that. And so the plan, it seemed, that you can tell, is that he was using that site to summon. So the summoning has to happen there. The banishing has to happen there. There is like this whole ritual for drawing out the proper sigils, the proper symbols, and sort of a ritual circle. And it's possible that maybe he did one part of that correct, or maybe he did another part of it incorrect, that kind of thing. It certainly seems like the banishing side of this equation, like you look at those notes, are way more hastily taken than the summoning, which seems more methodical. Like he took a lot more time to figure that out, and then you probably glean that maybe something went wrong, and he rushed to try to figure out a way to stop what he had screwed up.
Okay. Yeah.
Can Donna roll a... But what I want to try to do is figure out like a better way to go about it this time. So like last time we failed. So kind of trying to use what Corbin's read, what we learned from sort of our failed attempt last time and we had to go run away to see, okay, we're going to do round 2. How can we do this better? Like different weapons or other things that we could kind of add.
Ooh. They probably have like all sorts of fencing around here, right? And this is like in Arkansas, so a lot of them will have like your chicken mesh type fencing.
Sure.
Where it's in the rolls, so to speak. What if we like get some tarp, we unroll the roll of fencing, right? Put the tarp over it, do all the banishment glyphs on it, and then have that ready so we can just unroll it. Have a couple people do like Red Rover style, go around it with the fencing roll full of the banishment glyphs, so you can just surround them real quick.
I like how your brain works.
Let's do it.
Donna, if you want to roll that by piecing, like taking everything together, looking at the book, looking at the notes, looking at what Anton's found, looking at what you guys observed, the photos, all that kind of stuff. If you want to try to like kind of piece it all together with an investigate, go ahead and give that a roll.
Can I try to help out?
Of course.
Trying something different. I can do more than burn.
Hey.
Yeah. Okay, so that's a +1 to Donna.
All right, so this is a... I'm going to take an audience, which I think is a +1.
Okay.
If I remember correctly. I'm going to roll it in. So I'm going to have a +2 then between the audience and... Oh, son of a gun. That's 2 1s.
Okay.
Donna sounds just about as intelligent as I did a little bit ago, where I was like, "Oh, we have a name. Oh, we have the person that's already dead. Hey, we can pull him here." No, not here.
Okay. Okay. I am going to.
Sorry.
I'm going to fail. That's fine. I'm going to fail forward. I got to fail forward this. But I'm going to remember this for later. But I'm going to fail forward and say that while Corbin's plan sounds mostly okay, but it does also seem like that was also in the notes for Cyril, like he was planning something similar. What you would probably be able to glean is that the banishment spell, what it really does is more of like kind of untether and essentially make him vulnerable, right? Make him vulnerable to be defeated. And so it's not just like you snap a finger and he goes away, but that just kind of like sort of lessens his defenses and makes him more susceptible to like the tools that helped kill him to begin with. So effectively, like you're kind of gleaning a weakness here that this whole banishment spell essentially makes him vulnerable, and then the tools of the slaughterhouse specifically are the things that could actually kill him once that tether is broken.
That's
it's like we've got a couple of chains or whatever that had gotten broken off before.
Yeah.
Or the hooks or whatnot.
Here's an idea.
Mm-hmm.
These people just happen to notice are very wealthy, which means they've got a lot of vehicles. Let's borrow one of theirs. We'll go to the meat place. She'll do the thing. And then when he shows up and he's angry and he can get hurt, we just plow into him with the vehicle. And then everyone else just runs in and stabs him with like the meat hooks and stuff.
That sounds like a good addition to the plan there, brother.
I know where there's a young man who's very drunk, and I could probably take the keys off of him. I'm a good person.
Just tell him that he's out of gin and you're going to run to the store and get more.
Oh, smart, Phil. I'm never going to say that again.
Yeah, but I know you're going to be thinking it. Like, it's out there. You like me. It's fine.
So, yeah.
That's the plan.
Hey, buddy. Yeah, I see that. I see that's going real low, guy. I'm gonna go make a gin run real quick. I'm just gonna borrow these. I'll make a gin run for you.
All right. That's very kind of you, my friend. That's very kind of you. Warriors who drink gin sure know how to win.
Yes.
True. One thing I want you to remember. That's right. You're too legit. Too legit.
Puts them together, goes to bow, and his momentum carries him forward. He just smashes to the ground inside the library.
I'll make sure to turn him on his side so he doesn't choke on his own vomit.
You turn him on his side and you grab his car keys. Okay. All right.
I love this guy.
He's such a good NPC. I love him so much. Okay. So we'll say around this time, Caleb, you can come back to consciousness. Anton, have you been doing any other investigative things while this conversation has been going on?
I'm really interested to find out if anything else was taken. It seems passingly odd to me that the creature just came in through the window, murdered the person, and left. Maybe look around. I mean, I already failed because I only got the one question in the room, Jeff. But that's what Anton would be doing, is looking to see if there's maybe a little swipe of blood somewhere where someone had moved something or knocked something over. Look under the bed.
Sure. I'll say one of the things you do find, if you just, and no roll necessary, we can kind of roll this over. You do find there is a false panel behind the closet, and you can see that there is some kind of like like shrine or altar that's kind of set up there with these dark black candles, none of which are lit currently. You can see that there is something that's been some sort of symbol that has been smothered on the wall a bit. It definitely looked like there is something in like the middle of the altar that is not there. Like you can see that it's like there's like the residue of something and it's not there. So whatever was on there was likely taken.
Okay. I was 50-50 whether it was occult stuff or sex dungeon. Could have been either.
Yeah. I mean, why not both, right?
Go with that grandma.
The swing from the ceiling kind of, could be either. Let's point this out to folks. See if any of the residents of the house knew what was in the room.
I would say that probably, from what you've gleaned, the only real person that seemed to give the mother any real mind to her witchery was Cyril, who's dead. So Zachary's unconscious. Archie doesn't really want to talk to you guys too much, and he kind of comes and he's just sort of cackling and this like he's high on his oxygen. And then Sophia, if you show her, she'll look at it and she just was just like, I've seen that symbol before. I've seen it. Where have I seen it? I've seen it. Oh, here. And then she starts kind of having you follow her around the room and like, no. And then kind of out like, no. And she starts seeing her point to it and like this decorative molding in various places throughout the house. That symbol that she has drawn on the back of the wall is sort of popped up here and there. But what you notice, Anton, is that the sort of decorative molding that has this symbol, it looks like intact. Whereas on the wall, it seems like something scraped through it, kind of breaking that sigil or breaking that seal. Corbin you kind of tap him into this. He flips through the book. It's some sort of protective wording. And so it looks like it just sort of is like she was using this in a way as like a, I don't know, some form of protection, and it was sort of scraped down and scraped through.
Okay.
Can we use that to kind of like keep them out while we make our preparations for the trap, and then get rid of it, and then kind of like only let them in once we're ready for them?
I mean, I'm clearly an evocation school specialist, but I'll do some abjuration, sure.
Quick question.
Yeah. Did you wake up?
Do I still have meat treats in my mouth?
Yeah, they taste delicious.
All right. So
little gamey.
I'm gonna try and use my immortal ability. I mean, my unquenchable vitality.
Sure.
And
absolutely.
There we go.
Okay, you can heal one arm, and you can stabilize your injuries.
Sweet. And at that moment, it's like, hey, Phil.
You're back.
I am.
I left you some snacks.
Huh?
Don't worry about it.
Oh, all right.
Your brother figured out magic, and we're going to go get a car, and we're going to run a pig over.
Oh, he's already figured out magic a long time ago.
He's figured out this magic, but still.
Oh, of course he would. Silly. All right, we're gonna steal a car.
I love it when you're this chipper, but I'm also terrified about how you get this chipper.
I'm always this chipper.
We're gonna borrow a car.
I wonder what kind of car this dude has. Like that, I'm waiting for that payoff.
I hope it's a DeLorean.
Dude, let's go find out.
Oh my god.
Hey, rock, paper, scissors for who gets to drive it.
All you, my friend. All you.
You guys go and you find the garage. And you can see that you were not wrong. There are several vehicles of different kinds, very elegant town cars. There's a Rolls. You can see that there is like an actual motorcycle as well. And you can see that there's some decaling on the motorcycle, and the little license plate, it says it's basically SNTZU as the license plate to the motorcycle. And you can see that next to it there is a pristine looking DeLorean that says SNTZU 2.
So good. So good. Yeah. Okay. You can drive it, man.
Oh, me? You're just going to let me?
Yeah, it's not a problem. We are planning on crashing this into a giant pigman monster. So
What? And you want something that small?
it's
look
solid
around.
steel, man.
Oh,
Yeah, those cars are better. They nowadays they're made to buckle so that they go around you. Not
Now,
these.
this is just a big like axe head coming right at it.
oh, cool. Is anybody gonna ride with me, or am I going
Yeah, I'll
solo?
ride
No.
with you. Oh, I'll ride with you.
Okay.
I'm riding the motorcycle.
Okay. Fair enough. There's like cabinets with keys and such. It's fine. And even Sophia is like, whatever you all need, just please get vengeance for my dear mama and Cyril, the stupid, sadistic boy that he was. And pop open the garage, and you can see that out in front of you, scattered about the fields, the driveway, etc., there are dozens and dozens of pigs that seem to be wandering the grounds.
Do they pay us mind as we drive?
No, they're just
around?
wandering. They're just chilling here and there. Some are eating, some are sleeping, some are just moseying around.
Donna will stare them down the whole time we're driving by, but not aim for any of them if they seem to ignore us.
Yeah, they get in the way a bunch. They don't like attack the car or anything like that, but they get in the way a bunch and they don't really like to move. So you kind of like nudge them a little bit and then they squeal off, or you honk the horn and they get really frightened and they scatter here and there. But they're big honking suckers. Like they're really big, and you can see their faces are just sort of covered with blood, like they've recently eaten something. Each one of their eyes, you can tell they all have like this very human looking eyes, like sad eyes, as if they don't even really look like pig eyes anymore. They just look like human eyes every time you look at them.
Donna's going to turn to maybe Anton or somebody else who's in the vehicle. Should we be shooting those things?
Pull out my gun, and it's like, you've seen me shoot this thing lately, haven't you? If you're asking.
And that's it. You make a fair point. I'll hop on the motorcycle, just kind of ride a perimeter around the hogs, holding onto and then just do the gout of flame. That this is the burning spell, and just kind of do the burning hand spell, driving the motorcycle in a circle around them, with the other palm extended to just burn them.
Are you
just because that sounds?
Are you trying
awesome.
to harm them? Are you trying to harm them, or are you trying to just like herd them out of the way?
Do we sincerely want to like actually put them out of their misery, Donna?
Well, there's one or two options. Either they're going to get better when we take care of the other one, or they're not going to get better, and then we're going to try to be killing that one, and then all of them are going to come at the same time. We're going to have to deal with the big one and all the little ones.
I mean, I'm clearly not the moral compass of this party. So, like, if somebody says, "Hey, let's kill him now and put him out of their misery," I'm here for it.
Hey, dare you?
What?
I dare you to do it.
Okay.
Listen,
Stupid.
guys,
I would help in the herd so they don't chase us later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So this sounds like you're rolling, not kick some ass for you. You're specifically rolling your magic spell here as you're trying to go around and you're trying to herd them. There are dozens and dozens. They are huge. They are probably a couple 100 pounds, or 150, 250 pounds, something like that. They're very, very big. Faces covered. And so you're trying to essentially scorch them while also riding a hog, so to speak.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
This is hot hog on hog action.
This is hot hog. That's what people tune in.
Yeah,
Lollygaggers for is hot hog on hog action.
Because the nice thing about the burn everything ability is I can make it an area effect instead of ignore armor.
Okay.
Yeah, man. If you get them all, you go whole hog.
That's yes. Thank you. You knew exactly where I was going.
Go ahead and I'm going to say go ahead and do that, but take a -1 as you're trying to do this while also riding the motorcycle as well. So like you're kind of
course. Yeah. Oh God. I don't know how to drive a motorcycle. What am I doing?
Oh my gosh.
He rolled a 6. Oh goodness. Oh, let's see.
That's just great.
Tears.
There was no need to do this at all.
No. Yes, there was. It was hilarious. Okay. So on a miss, you lose control of the magic, and it basically never ends well. So here's what we're gonna say. This is what happens: as you start rounding them up, you're riding around, you're hurting them, a little bit of fire here and there to kind of just nudge them to the center. You're kind of herding them around maybe this section of the lawns that clears the driveway, and there's maybe 24 of these things, and you're just sort of casting the spell, and then you go as you're driving to cast the spell and essentially immolate this circle of pigs that are just squealing like crazy in pain. But in doing so, you kind of like the fire doesn't necessarily come out quite right, and it spreads, and it does in fact immolate and just set these on fire. Some of them get caught up in it and just immediately die. Others just run off into the night, no longer to be seen. But you also kind of catch yourself on fire, and you can see the fire just kind of snakes down and it kind of gets on the motorcycle as well. And then there's just this moment where the motorcycle appears to be on fire, and Corbin, the gas tank just goes, and you all watch as Corbin kind of goes ass over tea kettle and gets thrown like a comet through the night onto the lawn somewhere. And the motorcycle flops down beside. I'll say let's go ahead and take a point of harm.
Yeah.
As the motorcycle explodes, but you do probably kill, I would say 3/4 of them or so. Maybe a handful sneak off into the night.
That's perfect, because bad luck charm would keep me from directly hurting myself, but setting the bike on fire, totally.
Yeah.
Perfect.
And so Donna driving the pickup will kind of circle around. And just kind of like this looks very cool how she just kind of spins so that like the bed of the truck is right there. So all you have to do is like kind of get up and just kind of like slide yourself in there.
I'll dare you to do something next time, Caleb.
Got a little flame in his hair. On fire as he comes out.
I'm gonna
the whole lawn's on fire. The whole lawn is completely on fire. Distant sounds of squealing. The smell of barbecue is kind of just like wafting through the air. All right. And with that, you guys.
That was one way to do it, Corbin. That was one way to do it.
Yeah, that looks so cool.
It felt cool until the nearly dying part.
With that,
Isn't that how our dares always work out, though?
With that, you guys leave the mansion. Okay. So
that's a disembodied voice from above.
The big face
Grandma,
man
is that you?
Are we doing this or what? Like, I got other places to go. All right. It is like 3-4 o'clock in the morning, something like that. So what's the plan? What do you guys want to do? Where do you head next? What do you want to do next?
We're going to the place where we've got to do the thing. So we're going to go back to where he died, because that's the place to either call him or send him away. And the first thing we're going to do is repeat that little sigil that we saw everywhere but the bedroom to make sure that he can't interrupt our surprise.
Okay. So we'll say you drive on back to the factory, back the way you came. And you drive up to the grounds. You can see you guys are, again, you're in your, I think you have 3 cars now. You have your 2 normal cars, and then someone's driving a freaking DeLorean because why not? And so you make it back to the grounds of the Clemonte factory. It is extremely dark. You don't see any lights anywhere. All you really hear are the sounds of basically insects, and you also hear the familiar sounds of these distant echoes of like pig squeals here and there, as you think there's probably more here or there. And even along the way, your travel from the mansion to the factory, there are times when you would look out the window and you would like kind of look out into a field, or you would look into someone's yard, or you even look down a side street and you would just see more and more of these like large groups of pigs just sort of showing up in places that they really shouldn't be there. But you make it back. Maybe a few stray pigs you just catch running away as the headlights come up, and you pull back up. So walk me through. Are you guys are just going to go right in? What's your approach? How does this look? Describe it to me.
Find a bay door.
Okay.
Guess we got to have the DeLorean inside for maximum ambush. That's the part I figured out.
Okay.
Then I guess we start painting symbols on the walls.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say like painting the symbols in such a way that it's easy to sort of paint back over them. So like all around the outside before we go inside.
Okay. So you're painting that kind of like warding symbol and everything. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So we'll say, Phil, you're looking for a way to get the DeLorean inside. So you're kind of circumventing, you're moving around the factory looking for like a bay, like a way that you can kind of get something like cargo load, factory loading. Okay. Donna, you start. We'll assume you picked up paint and stuff like that before you left the grounds. I'm sure they had some at the mansion that you can start doing some of this. Absolutely. What are the rest of you doing? What does it look like as you guys arrive?
Caleb's just going to drive the car wherever Phil tells him to go, and he's going to wait.
So we'll say Phil is slowly, with headlights on, presumably to give Phil some sight, just kind of trailing Phil as you guys go around the factory site. Now it's overgrown. It's not like clear parking lot anymore. Like it's bumpy here and there, but not to the point where it's really going to cause any major trouble as you leave like that little sandy ground. What about Corbin and Anton? What are the two of you doing as we first approach?
Is there actually a security guard or anyone like a security pillbox or anything around?
No, normally what would happen is a security guard would come and visit, do a walkthrough, and then leave until he was killed by the pig guy and gutted on the grounds, setting off this adventure.
So they haven't replaced him yet?
They have not replaced him yet. So that job's open.
I could have offered the next guy like a whole 50 cents more an hour to compensate for the last guy being gutted on the premises, you know.
So no, there's no security pillbox or anything like that. But there was, they did regularly send someone out here, and that's how this all kind of got started.
I know for me, I'm working on the banishment sigils.
Okay. Are you are you doing that? Are you going inside to do that? Or are you staying outside? Like where are you actually pushing that up?
I don't. Honestly, I feel like if we try and cheat it and do it on the outside of the building, I don't think that'll work. I think you got to go in.
Bravely goes into the factory all by himself, into the dark factory all by himself. Anton's
gonna go with him.
No. You're busy painting warding symbols around the factory. Anton, What are you doing?
You know what? I guess I'll just kind of have my gun out, pointed away from my friends, and just kind of be on Overwatch as the painting goes on.
Okay. Do you want to go inside with Corbin, or do you want to stay outside with Donna, as the two of them are both kind of working on something when it comes to this?
Corbin's got the thing that's probably more dangerous. I'll go with Corbin.
Okay. So Anton and Corbin bravely go inside. The two of you go inside, and as you do, everything's quiet. The only thing you hear are the sounds of insects and like pigs scurrying about, and you can even hear them inside as well. And as you walk in, just like that, the machinery turns on. You kind of come inside, you get maybe 10 feet in, and all of a sudden light starts flickering here and there. These old fashioned, like kind of halogen, dangle lights here and there that were flickering on before. Same thing happens again. Conveyors start working up. You hear this metal on metal grinding as that meat grinder is trying to like just chew through the grating, that catwalk grating that fell into it. You can see chains kind of cycling up and down, conveyor shifting here and there. All of the damage that you all had done before is still there. Nothing's changed. It doesn't like reverted. But definitely everything seems to have come active again. And you notice that there are large little shadows here and there as inside are several slaughterhouse pigs that are kind of moving about in the darkness, squealing here and there. Outside, Phil and Caleb, you are driving around looking for a way to get the DeLorean inside, looking for some bay doors. And just like I described in the inside, you see these little pods and groups of these small hogs here and there moving about. At the sight of the car, they scatter. They don't really kind of get in your way too much, and all of them really seem to be chewing on this or chewing on that or just kind of getting each other's way. And then Donna, left alone outside all by herself, paints a series of wording symbols. Okay, so Phil, Caleb, it takes you a little while. This is an enormous factory, but you will eventually find a way in. You do notice that there are old gates. They're heavily chained. Doesn't look like they've been used in ages. Phil, you're outside. You look at the chains, and it's like an old padlock. They're rusted, but you're pretty sure no one has opened this section in maybe 15, 20 years for all you know.
Let's drive through that.
All right.
Okay. Sounds great. So you're just gonna plow through it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, we got to get through it. It's rusty, it's locked, and we have the world's largest key right now.
Okay. Caleb, roll an act under pressure as you try to drive the vehicle square through this.
All right. Got an 11. It's one louder.
Nice.
11.
11.
Okay, so you roll 11, you manage to plow right through. The doors rip open, the chains tear apart, they fall down to the ground, and you see yourself staring directly at the backside of this whole kind of conveyor system. You can see that you're on the far side of probably the same room that you were in earlier, and Corbin's on the other side, you presume, but you can't necessarily see him. But you can see at this point that the lights are already kind of flickering on here and there, and you can also see that the machinery is once more working. If you've busted in now, there's not a ton of room to maneuver in this area with the car, but you can at the very least kind of push through into this sort of loading area here and there. And there's like kind of places where you would imagine they probably back some trucks into to either load stuff up or unload or whatever it might be. Okay. So we've got Corbin. You're inside trying to set up this banishing symbol. What does it look like as you're trying to do it?
Imagine there's like a ton of salt. Salt is often used for that sort of thing to begin with. You cure the hams. It just seems natural, like you're. Yeah. So it's
they never really clean this out, so there's still a lot of stuff in here. There's still a lot of equipment. There's still a lot of like substances and stuff in here. So I'd imagine there's probably some bags or there's probably some storage here and there. It's long, it's old, it's there, but you could probably find some here and there as you're moving about. No problem.
So he's kind of like tossing that out. There's the gore and viscera that's here naturally. So it's kind of like a little bit of a gross thing where like he's using the viscera that's already here to be something that the salt could be tossed onto. and then just kind of like animating the horned serpent tattoos to kind of have them like burn the crystals of salt into place where they need to be, and then they kind of are glowing just a little bit from the heat from that. So there's kind of like some active resonating magic within them.
Okay. So as you're doing this, Anton, you're kind of giving cover, Overwatch, etc. Corbin, you're kind of walking through the sort of ritual process. We'll say go ahead and let's say, I don't know, we can do use magic, we can do act under pressure. Either one of those is probably fine.
I would lean towards use magic. I'm definitely better at that. Wait, was that a success?
Yeah, it's 10.
You did it.
I can't see. It does the jump to bottom button for me. I'm like, I don't know if I did it or not.
I've got a fix for that. Remind me later. I'll tell you.
Oh, nice.
I was having the same issue and I fixed it.
Okay. So you kind of go through this process. You get this whole banishing single line. And as you do so, you can see that the machinery starts to speed up. The conveyors start to go faster. The grinding of of that metal that's trying to go through the meat grinder is getting louder and louder and louder. You can see the flickering of the lights goes more and more. The chains that are kind of swinging back and forth here and there, like this sort of a circuitous movement of the chains hanging down from this rack. Like everything's just moving faster and faster and faster. And the doors on the far, we'll call it the north side. We'll say you're on the west side. We'll say Phil and Caleb just came in the east side. And we'll say the south side is probably around where like the offices and such were that you guys explored the last time you were around here. The doors on the far north side that were kind of protected in some ways by the figure that you fought, they swing whoosh, wide open. You see them just burst open. There's no explanation why. There's no wind. There's nothing. They just burst open. One of them flies off the hinges and goes scattering across the ground.
That's exactly how I meant for that to go. Amazing.
What do I need to roll to keep my pants clean?
That seems
act under pressure, clearly.
Jesus, Melissa with a shit joke. Look at that. Okay. Thought I'd never see the day.
Oh, I'm good.
Okay. So you didn't realize to roll it.
I was
totally fine with rolling it.
I know.
Okay. So the door rips open, scatters across the ground. All of the machinery is going really, really late. You still don't see anything other than a handful of pigs kind of scattering here and there of appropriate weight and size that they need to be. Insert here. What do you want to do?
First thing I want to do is I want to look over to see Corbin. Is his part done?
As far as Corbin knows, he thinks, I would say, Corbin, you think you've gone through the ritual. You've looked through the notes of Cyril. You've looked through the notes that are in the book by like Penelope as like best as you can tell. Like you think you've corrected whatever error that maybe he made in trying to do this before.
Yeah, there's lots of creepy salt crystal formations that are kind of glowing with embers and like the blood behind them to kind of give a nice little hue to the glowing light.
Okay. I think we need bait to get the pig over here for the ritual, right?
Bait?
Yeah, that's what
Probably.
he said.
Okay. I take my shoes off and I run over there.
I need to stay here.
Caleb, you're in the car, I think. I think you're in the DeLorean still. Okay.
I'm just talking to myself.
Do you just camera cuts inside is just Caleb talking to himself. Phil, you run barefoot over towards the entranceway. Anton, you're still covering Corbin as best you can. And Donna, we'll say at this point you probably finished your wards. Go ahead, roll act under pressure to see if you accurately painted some of these wards correctly there, Donna.
I'm sorry. What am I rolling?
Act under pressure, as you were kind of painting outside all by yourself while there were random squeals and you heard the sounds of the machinery kicking, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep. That is a 9.
Okay. Oh.
Worst outcome, hard choice, or price to pay.
You're doing the whole. You can't just roll in the system, or we can get the actual.
I just told you the keeper is going to give you a worse outcome, hard choice, or price to pay.
Okay. All right. I will say, as best you can tell, as best as you think that you are trying, you think you've covered the entirety, or at least spaced some of the words on the outside of the factory. You interspersed them as best you could, thinking that you probably have covered the entire grounds. You think you've made a good kind of barrier, so that if like him trying to leave or something like that, it would be very difficult. You don't think there is any secret ways out that you might have missed. Definitely,
Donna is
nothing
proud
like that.
of her work.
Sure.
She thinks she has done well.
Okay. So then Phil, we're going to cut back to you as Donna, you finished up. Phil, you rush over with bare feet towards where the door just got smashed open inside the factory. What do you do, Phil?
It may seem arbitrary, but I took the shoes off. That way there's maximum slapping noises on this concrete as I run over there. Okay. Obviously, this pig man, he went for my feet before, so I'm trying to give him an enticing target.
Okay.
I run over there, and I yell out, I just yell out insults. Hey, Mr. Pigman, the Reddings send their regards, and that old lady says you weren't that good. Just trying to draw this pig thing this direction.
Offend its ego.
Yeah.
2-pump chump.
Phil, make a manipulate someone test as you try to see if you can taunt them out. Oh, God. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's an 8. Yeah.
So they do it, but only if you do something for them right now to show them you mean it. If you ask too much, they'll tell you what, if anything, it would take for them to do it. Here's what I'll say is as you taunt, you hear this sort of like dull, distant squeal from deep down whatever dark hallway you're now looking at where the door is ripped off. You can see that on the sides of the walls are all sorts of strange occult symbols and things like that. And you can see that there's like a flickering light in the hallway. And at the far end of the hallway, all you really see is just like this mass of meat, just like this stack of nasty, rancid meat, like a good 25 feet or so down this hallway. And you get the sense that you might need to get a little closer to really lure them out. You might need to actually go down the hallway a bit.
We got to get the job done. Y'all hear the slapping of feet as I run down this hallway, now with echo.
Okay. So you're running down the hallway. You get about halfway through, your feet start to slip a bit as like,
oh no.
You can see on the ground, it's just blood like everywhere, just all over the place. And you're kind of slip and you're sliding.
Yeah.
And you're taunting. And then you see that big pile of meat stir and just and kind of almost like birthing out of it this massive like 10 to 12 foot tall man crawls up, got his whole getup is still there, and he just sort of peels himself and just rips apart like the tissue this like meat sack that he's kind of crawling out of. You hear the sounds of chains. You see like the dragging of a cleaver as he sets it there, uses it as a way to prop himself up. And there he stands before you, just a handful of feet away. And I'll give you an opportunity to tell me what you're doing, Phil, as it does seem you've gotten his attention.
Gotten his attention. This plan is going great. I whip my baseball bat and I just throw it at him, and I turn around and run away screaming.
Throw the baseball bat.
Yes.
Kick some ass. As you throw the baseball bat at him. As he begins to very slow stomp in your direction.
A partial success. That's nice.
Okay. You and whatever you're fighting inflict harm on each other. The amount of harm is based on blah, blah. Okay. So you do, in fact, manage to inflict some harm on him as you throw the bat. It like catches him right on the face, right as like this mask is kind of adhering and sticking and grinding into his actual face skin. And then he just swings out at you with this chain in one hand that has a hook at the end as you're running away, and it just catches you right across the back.
So I've got some light questions.
Sure. Shoot.
So last time we encountered the pig, I did manage to take 5 harm.
Sure.
And unstable injuries.
Okay.
Okay, just making sure that was out there.
I offered to burn you. I
Did
thought
you
you
burn
would let
me?
me.
I thought that sounds right. How much does your burn do?
3.
I don't know. Jeff, did he burn me?
I don't know. Did you guys? I don't know. You tell him. I mean, you had had time to do so. I mean, I think you guys even stopped at one point, like on the side of the road to do some healing. I don't remember who got it.
Donna's got 3 harm as well. So that probably would have been a thing that we would have done.
We'll assume you probably got healed then. That's fine. I don't mind.
I'll go down to 2.
Okay. All right. Take 7 harm. No, just kidding. Go ahead and take...
Try to will actually me, son of a bitch.
Oh, Chuck, I'm glad you got this damage math figured out. Doesn't matter anyway, you're dead.
It doesn't matter.
He slinks out. He slashes out with this these sort of sharp, some sort of sharp hook at the end of this chain, and you just feel it rake across your back, and a whole burst of blood comes out of your back and lands and adds to that slickness on the ground. Take 2 harm.
Okay.
And as you start running out, but you can hear the sounds of sort of footsteps and such kind of crawling out. So the rest of you that are inside the actual factory, you do see running out of that hallway, blood pouring down from his back, is Phil Theodore, and you hear the sounds of heavy footfalls following. And it's at that moment that you start to see the contours of that large pig man begin to come through. And it sounds like Anton's taking a shot. Anton, roll kick some ass as you start firing in the direction of Phil and this creature running out. Roll kick some ass.
We have any audience?
Melissa would
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
All right, I'll use 1. That just adds 1 to the roll, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a +1. It's like a +1.
Yeah, I gotcha. Hey, so a 10.
Fantastic. So kick some ass with a 10. You get to choose. So you get to choose 1 extra effect. You can either gain the advantage, so you take 1 forward, or give 1 forward to another hunter. You can inflict terrible harm, which means +1 harm to what you're doing. You can suffer less harm, meaning -1 harm, or you can force them where you want them. So what is the extra effect?
So I only get to pick 1, right?
Well, yeah, you're going to do your harm. That's the main effect. And then you get an extra thing on top of it.
Right. So the extra thing, I think, is to I'm going to give the advantage to the next person. It's going to set the next person up for whatever they want to do. So,
okay. That's what we'll do. You start so he bursts through this entryway, chasing after Phil, and doesn't necessarily know that the gunfire starts coming. A few of them hit, thump, thump, and they just kind of burrow right into the chest as if it doesn't really faze him, but it does kind of momentarily disorient him as if he didn't see it coming. And so he does have this moment of kind of uncertainty. And then he just sort of hurtles out and he screams this loud, horrific pig squeal. And this chain with a hook kind of slashes down through you, Anton, that you're standing there firing. And it's just this chain comes down as if it's trying to cut off your very hand. Go ahead and take a point of harm as one of these very quickly swinging pendulums of chains happens to catch you while you stand still and take the shot. The next person, however, gets +1. Who's doing something next as Phil continues to run?
Can we say Donna finished doing what she was doing outside so she can now make her way inside for next round?
Yeah, I'll say you hear the sounds of the gunfire. You push, and you can probably run in, push the door open. You can see that Anton's firing, and now he's like kind of, his hand is like bleeding as one of these huge pendulum chains swings down at him. You can see Caleb in the far side, and the other side of all this machinery is kind of got the DeLorean there. Phil is running coated in blood, and Corbin is near his little kind of banishing circle thing. Okay. Who's doing what?
I mean,
can I see them yet?
Yeah, you can see Phil running out of the hallway. You can see the thing chasing him, and you can see the creature getting shot by Anton. Yeah.
Okay, so at this point, I'm gonna do like the thing in the movies where like the car was like quiet and everything, and then all of a sudden I turn the car on and like the lights come up, which is totally a bad idea, but it makes for a good moment in the movies.
Sure.
And then I'm just gonna gun it.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try to go to the future after I hit him.
All right. Lots of machinery, lots of swinging change, things moving around, very tight quarters as you're trying to literally drive this DeLorean through this factory. Act under pressure. I think this is what it's going to be.
All right.
And you're trying to essentially just smash into him, right?
Yep.
And are you trying to like hurt him, or are you trying to move him? Are you trying to incapacitate him?
The plan was to pin him so everyone else could use the hooks on him. Was that it?
I think that's about right. Yeah.
Yep.
Go ahead. So go ahead and roll act under pressure.
And I want to use an audience die.
Okay.
Got it.
Your total is, you got what,
11.
11. And how long do those holds last? Is it too late, or
I can't remember if hold lasts the whole
everything.
session or not. It's a good question. I don't remember the answer to. Melissa, do you have the primer up?
Looking. It just says can be cashed in for specific effects per the move used. So it needs to kind of relate to the move.
Okay.
So like if you had a hold from investigate and you're doing another investigate, you've got a hold.
Okay.
Okay. We will say, however, that as you smash into him, as he was sort of distracted, you know what? Did you take the +1 from Anton? The +1 forward?
That makes it 12.
Yay!
Yeah. Okay. So you do, in fact, get to 12. You may choose to either do what you wanted in something extra, or to do what you wanted to absolute perfection.
Absolute perfection. Just want to do that.
So you want to just pin him. You want to pin this 10-foot tall pig man murderer beneath your DeLorean. Is that right? Just want to make sure I got this correct.
Like kind of against the wall.
Okay.
So that way, if he tries to push back, I can use more of the force of the engine to keep him there.
So you go ahead and you pin him against the wall. He just goes, and he's like reaching out, and his arms are so long that he's kind of smashing against the windshield. But he's eventually going to get through.
Yeah.
Doesn't grab you, but you can see he might have, had you rolled worse, as he smashes into the window, and he's kind of in the windshield trying to get through to you. But you have, in fact, pinned him against the wall, and he is in place. Phil, you've managed at this point to dodge out of the way. At the very least,
nice.
This guy's, there's still stuff there's still active things in the room, but you've managed to slide out of the way. Who's doing next?
I had from earlier, we had that length of chain with the hook on it from whenever we did our getaway, that we got to keep a piece of that. So the burn everything basically says when you use magic to inflict harm, that's when you can do the 3 harm, ignore armor. What I would want to do is to basically just kind of like animate the horn serpent tattoo, have it wrap itself through the links of the chain, and kind of get the head of the tattoo to then animate at the end of the hook, and have it kind of come through, latch into the side of him, and then have the end of the chain come to the spinning wheels of the car. So I'm like kind of doing a combo move with my brother, ramming with the car to perfection, the wheels spinning, get the chain into him, then have the hook go into him, have the chain go down to the wheels, and let the car help with it some.
Absolutely. This is you. You're just using use magic, right? That's all you're to animate the tattoo. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Go for it. Roll it. The partial success is still gonna. It works imperfectly. So you choose your effect. So you get to inflict harm. You get to. Effect. Basically what we can say is it works. It just doesn't last as long as you probably would like.
That's fair. I'll go with I'll inflict harm. It's 3 harm, ignore armor. Okay. And it's his catch or whatever you call it.
Okay.
Because it's a tool from here.
So it's the weakness. Yeah. So you sling it out, wraps around his neck. You can see he seems to be like, for the first time that you guys have seen him, he's been like unstoppable, immovable, unflappable. But you wrapped this around his neck. The banishment spell, you can see the runes that you had kind of painted and prepped have started to glow. The chain itself begins to illuminate, and you feel the squeals that have been emitting from his mouth kind of turn even more panicked. They sound like the pigs that were running away from you when you set the lawn on fire back at the Clemonte mansion. They don't sound like the madness of like this rabid creature. Instead, it sounds kind of panicked. The chain hooks down into the wheel of the DeLorean and begins wrapping, and his head continues to slowly pull, but you can tell that chain, even in its sort of imbued and sort of magic boosted state, is really beginning to grow taut. It's only going to last for so long. Like, you only have a little bit of time to make anything out of this. With that in mind, he is now pinned by a DeLorean. He has this slaughterhouse chain that's been imbued with magic wrapped around his neck, trying to pull his head down into the wheel bed of the car. Who's next?
If anyone else has something to do, who hasn't gone yet. If not,
I was running in this round, so go ahead.
Okay. Did he drop that big old cleaver he had?
Sure. We'll say the cleaver fell in the process of getting hit by the DeLorean. It's probably next to him, but it's on the ground.
I am going to try and tuck and roll so I can grab that cleaver.
Okay.
That way.
Oh my. Okay.
Yeah, I'm brave today.
Wow.
You
Eat your Wheaties this morning.
I did.
It's a fun late 80s reference. It's a fun late 80s. It's not really that.
Yeah.
But topically, it works.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You're trying to just grab it, or you're trying to use it?
I am just trying to grab it. I am very injured. I'm not real great at fighting. So really, I'm holding out, hoping that Donna shows up and I can just give her the cleaver and she can do work.
It's very big. It's also very close to him. This sounds like an act under pressure as you try to scramble up to grab the cleaver. Yeah. Awesome.
Okay. Yeah.
That's my brother.
Aw.
All right. I got a 4.
Oh, that's my brother.
That was.
On a miss. Things go to hell. You go running up. There's blood pouring down your back.
Yeah.
You're barefoot with your feet coated in blood from the hallway and from yourself. You slide just a little too far forward.
Yeah.
And you feel this massive hand wrap around the back of your neck and just start to squeeze and squeeze.
Oh, I don't like
And he lifts you up off the ground so that you are high above the air. Your legs are kicking. And even though his head's coming down, all of you can see that he has Phil up in the air. He could just smash and crack the guy's head against the wall with as easy as you all could crack an egg. Unless somebody does something about it. So that's where we're at. Phil is currently, he is on the verge of dying. I will tell you this, that Phil will more than likely die if someone doesn't successfully try to intervene and help. So who would like to do something?
I'll do it.
So Donna, so I think Donna's in at this point.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Okay. So Donna has, like, her signature weapon is she has specialist weapons. Okay. So she has something that I would like to use, which I'm thinking is like a not like a bow and arrow, but like a more powered, like a bolt gun kind of a thing.
Okay.
That I want to say she's like grabbing some chain as she comes in and kind of looping it around the front of that she wants to kind of shoot that out into his arm. So that she can kind of yank his arm so that he cannot throw Phil the way he wants to.
Okay. All right. So the way this sounds to me, it sounds like you're trying to kick some ass. So I will say
definitely.
If you're trying to kick some ass is not necessarily going to protect Phil unless you get a high enough roll to get like an enhanced effect, just so you know.
Sure. That makes sense.
So we'll say like if you just get like a partial success, like he's still going to be able to kind of go through what he's going through. You'll do harm to him, but it's not going to be enough to immobilize the arm. So I just want to lay this out since Phil's life really is in the balance here. So that is totally a role that you can do. You're totally fine to do it. Just so you know. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to take +1 from the audience, and then. If I'm using a signature weapon, it can be like up to 4 harm if it does harm.
I would say I'm looking for a 10 or higher, and that'll be you can do damage and get an extra effect. And that extra effect, I will say that he drops Phil. That'll be the extra effect.
Okay. I will roll it here, and I need to do a +1.
Okay.
10.
10 on the dot. Okay. All right. So you fire, the arm gets like the arrow just bursts through the bicep and it wrenches this old rancid physical meat from the guy's arm. And it's almost like a through and through, but it's enough to kind of cause the arm to sort of shake and lose grip. Phil, you're able at that point to fall. It still kind of hurts as you slam down onto the sort of the hood of the DeLorean. So you're still in danger range, but at the very least, he doesn't crush your head easily, and so you are not immediately going to die. Okay. How much damage did that do, Donna?
So that would do, believe.
You believe
3.
37 points of damage. Is it
82?
82 all does all damage, does all the damage. Does that have any kind of like armor piercing or anything like that?
No.
Okay. All right, sounds good.
And she's just gonna be yelling as she comes in, like, "You get your stinky smelly hands off my brother!" And she just shoots at the arm and watches Phil fall.
He answers back angrily. Okay. All right. So Phil's on the hood. Caleb, you're inside the cab of the DeLorean still. He is still tethered to the wheel bed by the enchanted chain, slaughterhouse chain, but that is imminent. The snappage of that is imminent. So I don't think I've heard from Caleb or Anton in a while. Do either one of you have an idea of something that you want to contribute? Go for it, buddy.
So I'm going to use the parking brake, and that way it'll just stay. And then I'm going to climb out onto the hood, and I'm going to do everything I can to protect Phil. And how I'm going to do that.
Don't hate me.
Nope. You ever get a moment?
Dibs.
You ever get a moment where like you had a cat or a dog try to bite you, and you just put your hand in there first before they can clamp down? They go, and they like gag a little bit. So I'm going to try and do this, Pigman. And that's
what are you doing to your pets?
He's given Pigman the mandible claw. It's fine.
No. I'm fine with that with Pigman. But what do you do to your cat?
No, I never do that to my cat.
He does that to other people's cats.
All the neighbors' pets are terrified of his house.
When I was a teenager, walking around, and like dogs would come up to me, stray ones that like wanted to
even a squirrel, man. He's ruthless.
Yeah, man. That's one of the best things you could do.
Tonight on the 10 o'clock news, random man breaks into.
We're gonna see Adam on the news at some point.
Yeah.
Okay, Adam. So Caleb crawls out of the DeLorean and hops up onto the hood as well.
Yeah, just and shoved my left hand into this Pigman's mouth to try and protect Phil.
Okay.
Like towards the back of his throat, like trying to get in as deep as I can with that fist, like real deep fisting.
Okay, Jeremy, gotcha. I got it. Are you rolling kick some ass, or are you rolling protect somebody?
Protect someone. I'm not trying to. Yeah, I'm trying to just like.
So I would say probably protect someone.
Phil.
Probably. I don't know if that. Yeah, I guess impending danger. So this means like any attacks would be kind of turned to you. Yeah. Okay. Go ahead and roll tough. Yeah. Go ahead. Roll that. So that's protect someone.
Not going to end well for me, but that's all right. I was already dead a long time ago. So it's a partial success. All right.
Okay, so you protect them, but you suffer some or all of the harm they were going to get.
Yep.
Well, Caleb, you shoved your arm down the throat of a psychopathic, homicidal, supernatural, 12-foot tall, half man, half pig creature. And it's going to bite down.
Of course.
And so you're going to feel this jolt of pain go through you as you're going to take, we'll call it 2 points of harm as an eruption and a wave of blood comes pouring out of the mouth of this creature. And you're also going to, let's see, with 2 harm, so we'll call that intense pain. And I'm also going to say you're effectively pinned to him because you shoved your hand down his mouth and he just bit it. So you're pinned to him. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Anton, we haven't heard from you in a while. What are you up to?
So Anton remembers that he has a weapon from the slaughterhouse, a slaughterhouse tool. In fact, no idea if it will do any better, but he'll run forward and find out if Pigman has nards.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay, so there were hooks, there were cleavers, things like that of that nature. We'll say you have one of these giant meat hooks. You come running up, you drop the gun, and you just run up and you just whoosh, hurl it up. Okay, this is kick some ass. Yep. I'm gonna say we're just gonna kind of float a +1 as he is pinned by Corbin's thing. He is really focused on Caleb at this point, and the car has still got him pinned against the wall as you come running up with your slaughterhouse tools.
Do we have any audience dice left?
Yeah, we do.
Right, I'm going to take one, and I'm just going to temporarily increase my toughness by 2 points, which will make up for it.
That works for me. Go for it.
Boom. Oh, yeah. 12.
12
wow.
Nice.
Okay, so you get to pick an enhanced effect. Okay, so you completely hold advantage. All hunters gain +1. You can suffer no harm back from him at all. Your attack can inflict double the normal harm. Your attack can drive the enemy away in a rout.
We don't want to drive it away.
Yeah, I don't think you do either.
Yeah, okay. So I'm torn between giving everyone else a +1 forward or just really packing on that harm. The weapon does a
double
+2
damage.
This is its weakness.
Yeah,
it is.
We will inflict double the normal harm.
Yes.
You come running in. You jam the hook underneath its very tall legs, and you just straight up where the scrotum would be. And that the rusted hook just pierces through, and you all hear a very high-pitched, very pained screech. So angry, in fact, is this creature that with its other arm, it just reaches back and it just smacks you with the back of its giant, meaty arm that's not currently kind of reaching forward towards Phil and Caleb.
And right before he's hit, Anton says, "So Pigman's got nards."
Okay, so this is going to be 2 harm as he just kind of catches you, and your face momentarily feels like it sort of cycles back around as it's so painful, and your face just kind of shifts, and you feel like a crunch and maybe a tooth or two come loose as he's able to backhand you in the process. I'll tell you this, that was a lot of damage. You guys have really, really hurt into him, but it's not quite dead yet. You also see, Corbin, the glowing chain has started to pull apart, and it looks like he's about to come free. What this basically means is one more action before he comes free. Who has something?
Was there any chain linked to what Anton had used, or was it just the hook?
I think it's more like it's probably a large hook with maybe a light, like maybe a foot of chain. It's probably not a lengthy chain here and there.
You know what? I mean, he's pulling back against the enchanted chain that's trying to pull him into the wheel well. That's great because that creates some slack in the chain, right? So what I'd like to do is to reanimate the horned serpent that's kind of making the snake imbued, and have it kind of pull itself over towards now a second hook they can loop one of those chains into. So now it can loop into the second chain that's stuck in its nards, so that it's being pulled towards the wheel well from a second point of contact.
Okay.
A double pull, a DP, if you will.
Oh, God. Go ahead and roll your Eve's magic.
I'm not even sorry.
I know you're not. Okay, partial success. Works imperfectly. Effect. What do you want your effect?
Do the damage.
Okay, that is a good thing, because that is actually exactly enough, even with so 1 harm, because it's the first one, inflict harm, 1 harm, ignore armor.
3 ignore armor. Because
why is it doing 3?
For the anytime I use magic to inflict harm, I can use burn everything to either do area effect or target one person for 3 ignore armor.
Okay.
So basically, the horned serpent tattoo superheats it with magic heat and.
Okay. That's one of your playbook moves. Okay. So the chain that is now impaled into his underside has lit up and begins to sort of pull and stretch until you guys see his body kind of contort in this strange way as he's reaching back with his neck to try to snap the initial chain. His lower body, which is still somewhat pinned by the DeLorean, is kind of reaching forward. And just like that, you watch as bifurcation of the most horrific fashion. Like you just took a sausage and you just wrenched it free, and you can just see the meat in the casing just rips apart and goes spilling down on top of Phil, who is laying right underneath it. Caleb as well, as you are just sort of coated with this gore as the torso of this thing falls to the ground. The legs and the crotch of this thing essentially get jammed into the wheel bed of the DeLorean. And you guys still see it's kind of ambulatory. Corbin, you would probably have read in the notes that, the way to kill this thing is to kill it the way it died in life. The way it went in life is the way it must go in death. And Phil, you know how he went in life.
Yes, I think. I want to put him in the meat grinder. Is that the right answer?
That is the right answer. He gets hustled over Phil's kind of sort of direction, and you managed to pull. If you recall, Anton had fallen And so did the writing, and that's been sort of getting clogged and stuck. And you've been hearing this horrible metal grinding. You're able to kind of pull sort of some of that free here and there. And eventually, even though the meat grinders suffer some significant internal damage, it's still functioning enough that you take the two pieces of this guy and just hurl them up and over, and like Fargo, just explodes in all sorts of directions as the proper retrieval isn't actually set up. And you just see chunks of gore explode onto this fast-moving assembly line as you guys have defeated Razorback.
Ooh.
Look around, see the pigs very patiently, very calmly kind of just look, turn, and start to wander away. Those that were kind of now cowering in the corner as the fight was happening. You see some of them leave out of the back where Caleb and Phil had knocked open the cargo garage. You can see some of them leave from the front where Donna had come through with the ward when she was painting the wards. And slowly but surely, all of the machinery begins to quiet down until you see none of the conveyors moving. You hear none of the actual machinery at all going whatsoever. The lights even flicker and go off. There is still a little bit of light, as you can see off to the east, like out one of these large kind of dirty windows. The sun is sort of just starting to come up as dawn is hinting on the horizon. And all of you are laying around covered in various bits of gore and grime, as you have in fact defeated Razorback.
Nice.
Awesome.
I think we'll go ahead and end it there. On that death, we'll pick up next time, probably with a new scenario, and it will definitely not involve pigs. It'll involve something else, and I already have a couple ideas, and we'll see how it goes. But that's it for tonight. As Razorback is done, and no one died. I almost had Chuck.
You
Chuck
almost got me.
Yeah.
You were
So
you were
close.
totally dead. You were totally dead if people didn't intervene.
Yeah.
If Donna would have rolled one less, which all of us noticed, by the way, when she rolled in system, she actually rolled a 9, but then she's like, oh, and you need to add a +1 to that, so it's 10. Everyone noticed that, right?
From
Where she
the
was just
audience.
like manufactured this random floating +1 that no one.
I said
You know-
I rolled it in system so you could see it.
Yeah.
Usually I'm all for some good ribbing, but that one saved my life. So it was legit.
Fair enough. I was literally just going to take your head and he was just going to smash it up against the wall, and that was going to be Phil. The end.
The
Just
end.
this sickening thud as a flattened head Phil just slides to the ground.
No.
All right. Our little grindhouse session is over. Why don't we do some closing plugs and we'll get on out of here. So Chuck, tell everybody where they can find you and what's going on with DOK.
So you can check us out on Wednesday and Friday over on the DOK Twitch. Wednesday, we're doing Dungeon Crawl Classics, going through the second edition. Yeah, Dungeon Crawl Classics, second edition D&D adventure, Night Below. And Friday, Joe is making a game called Anvia, and we're doing a playtest campaign of that. Yeah.
Awesome.
I think I said the right words.
Freaking
Yeah.
tastic. Bert, what is going on with Steam Steal and Murder?
I'm still feeling like crap, so probably nothing tomorrow night, but hopefully I'll be better for Friday and Saturday. Friday would be Dungeons and Dragons, some classic BX Dungeons and Dragons in the Mystara universe. And Saturday would be some Cyberpunk Red, but we'll see. See how it goes. I might be dead before then. Who knows?
Oh, no, don't say things like
Don't say
that.
that.
Bert. You better not be. You're due to be in a stream in 2 weeks, so you know.
Well,
Watch
no.
yourself.
Let me just
We need
pencil
to-
that in right before dropping dead.
Yeah, that's more like it.
You're committed to a Monster of the Week campaign. I'm not sure if you read the fine print there. You can't
Ugh.
go doing
He's
that.
got you.
His phylacteries, so long as the campaign runs, he can't die.
Just
Yeah.
keep summoning him back. Jeremy, tell us about this Patreon.
And reads on Patreon. If you get comics, maps, tokens, fun stuff, check it out.
Perfect. And Adam, what's going on with you, buddy?
Well, lots is going on. We have a lot of things that we can't talk about yet, but we will be able to talk about soon. So if you want to hear the latest news besides watching this show, go to gruimperialist.com and sign up for the mailing list, or go to Guru Imperialist Studios on YouTube and subscribe to that. You'll be able to see the big announcements when we are finally able to make them.
Awesome. As for us here, we are back to our normally scheduled stuff, or whatever the hell the phrase is. Tomorrow night, we'll be doing some Marvel Multiverse RPG, continuing our X-Men campaign. Thursday, we're back to Werewolf the Apocalypse. You can see Melissa, Jeremy, and I in that game. Friday, we are doing some Warhammer 40k, Wrath and Glory. And then Saturday, if everything aligns, I think we're actually going to be starting up our Call of Cthulhu campaign that we're going to be using now in One Ring's slot. It's going to be called Eternal Lies. It is based on a Trail of Cthulhu campaign. It's sort of like a spiritual successor to the massive Nyarlathotep. The hope is we're waiting for a handful of things to come in, but hopefully we're going to start it on Saturday. So tune in for the start of that adventure. We're going to be using Call of Cthulhu rules, even though it is actually a Trail of Cthulhu campaign. But it's going to be a lot of fun. And next Monday, right here, we got more Fragged Empire. Also, check out YouTube page, Adventures in Lollygagging. You can also check out, if you haven't already, also check out DOK and Steam Steal and Murder. They also got their YouTube pages as well. Subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Thank you to Laugh Love Lindy. Thank you to the Vactar. Thank you so much for the rates. Really do appreciate it. We're going to pay it forward. We're going to rate someone as well. So follow the rate, and we'll catch you all later. Bye-bye.